Welcome to day 209, video 182 from the Sovereign Light, named after my ministry, and my name is Reverend Maria Arvanitidis. And this is excerpts from pages 551 and 52. And just take some time, find a comfortable place where you can still your mind and take a few deep breaths in and you can opt to have your eyes closed or open and just find that comfortable space where you can straighten out your back. Make sure your back is straight and connect with your awareness to the soles of your feet and in between that soft spot of your heels and inner palms, of your feet. So it would be in here, this area from your feet. And as you breathe, ground, and through those soles of your feet, imagine them open up. So if you're standing or sitting, and just root to the ground, and if you will, visualize, and however you might sense this, roots growing like a tree and connecting with the earth. And as we have done before, this is another way of grounding and then centering and breathing. And from your tailbone, as you breathe, and breathe in that kind of way, and as you release in a resilient kind of breath, giving it some pressure out as you're blowing, and you're blowing right out from your tailbone, this coil, like a spring-like coil, but it's not like a spring-like. It's more like from the telephone, those old phones that you can connect. And just visualize that coming right out of your tailbone and connecting to the earth and with the roots from the soles of your feet. And out as they sprout and connect with the core of the earth, where the crystals and the deep, deep connection right to the lava and the fire and the flames, and another inner earth, Shambhala, and connect with that. And as we bring in and breathe with every breath in, all the beautiful ions, and breathe them right in. And just illuminate right out. And as you breathe all the way, deep breaths, and from your heart, right up to the center, inside, into the depths, right through the tailbone, all the way up your spine, and all the way to where your skull meets of the atlas and axis of your spine, and all the way up to your crown, and open, and let the photons come right in, accelerate and soothe with every breath. And let's begin today, video 182, from pages 551 and 552. And now that we have from the tailbone up and all the way to the front where our heart does meet, and we vibrate this right out into creating frequency. And just feel that knowing, this light, this information. Feel it connect with the structures, all your structures of your bones and muscles and tendons and ligaments, infiltrating right through and soothing and clearing like a running brook. And this today starts to unfold in the first paragraph as it introduces these words to say this metaphysical and spiritual read might have not disappointed in any kind of way to expect of it. And all of this information up to now, it is in the subtleties that hint to our awareness and at the speed of its own thoughts, rather. The self can support its information from mind to mind and that of the universe it chooses to live in. Proceeding at the speed of thought allows for miracles to happen. Yes, the sound and any vibration. So we're dealing with sound, frequency, and light. And as we bring more light, does the spirit and consciousness of this awareness, does it occupy the soul, or the soul occupy the spirit? This is a paradox, and yet another example of certain things that have been mentioned. And as we read further, let's introduce today's idea. And won't you repeat this after me so I can hear it too? This echo from the sound that you make when you speak these words out loud. And shall we begin? I surrender in perfect trust, with energy, alignment, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. And now I would like to hear you repeat and say these words out loud with me, or followed by the hearing of them. And really feel it, to allow yourself permission and give yourself approval to comprehend in such a way that you act on this information and allow it to influence your day. And each time you need to just take a moment to recalibrate and reconfigure these words, the thought, the meaning, and recapitulate. And let's say it again. I surrender in perfect trust, with energy alignment, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. And together, one more time, let's connect as one and say it. I need to hear you say these words as you hear me say them. I surrender in perfect trust, with energy alignment, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. And keep saying it until it finds its place within your mind to believe as truth, and to open up to the approval that it's okay to surrender. It's perfectly all right to trust this energy alignment that is yours, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. And this is today's lesson in the surrendering and the trusting enough to completely surrender to yourself. And in the moment of this awareness that is life within the universe that is yours, from every breath that you create, the in and out, ebb and flow, and the connection to the source that is you, the self. And the only mental corruption is to blindly accept the theories and concepts such as time, where the self must be born and die in, and to live with it and run out of it all these things in the field that have no meaning unless you empower them as truth. And in this field, an electron interacts with another field that represents a second electron through, and yet another field that represents a photon. I have this beautiful dragonfly. As soon as I said it and acknowledged it through my words, it went away. Because I looked at it, right? So it's like keeping us in this moment, and then it just went. And for this, thoughts are just that. And the information is, or rather that eureka moment of light. And as a photon is this cognition, and as photon is this cognition. So it's just like a electrical circuitry, you know, of flashing little lights. And within the brain. And so the natural forces from thought and emotion have had their play and way with all to attract with circumstance magnetically, and that with the self. The common energy was and is the perspective held by a particle of thought, and that held it in place as collective consciousness within a patriarchal enslaved system. One-sided patterning created of the mind from this ego space. Oh no, you have to get that graphene oxide injected into you. And if you don't, what becomes of it? Will we breathe it in? Will we inhale it? You know, is it in our food? This mesh that penetrates right through our cells and has its way with everything on a cellular level. And all the black blood cells that you notice, every blood platelet and that dark inside of it, how it lights up after with this. I don't know if what all these things are doing, but there's a really good way of doing this, and that's the biological way. There's no need to put pieces of graphene inside your cells, like a mesh kind of. It looks like a big cone kind of configuration, like a octagon or something like that, or hexagon. But they're really, well, hopefully not enforcing this, but it's up to you to decide what you want to do with yourselves. And this is another option that's less invasive, but it takes some work and some practice and some loving on yourselves. And the one-sided patterning created of the mind from the ego space contained much splitting off, and from the external hands outside its own to fully recognize. Oh, it's essential. This consent of glory was the betrayal worshipped for at any cost above the self, and from the outside looking in of the self as better. falling short within itself and as a dependent to rely on a foreign disconnect for its independence. Yes, and now with the false goddess coming into us and the changing of our blood, well, you can accept a patent to become ownership of some other, I don't know, Pfizer or Moderna or these chemical companies, these patents that were already created. As soon as they get that into you, you are now an object to be owned, and your free will has been given over permanently. And shall you be, even if you leave this body, I don't really know what's going to happen after that. You still are owned. Your information, everything has been hijacked now. And so I don't know for how long. That remains to be seen. It's in experimental stages, but they already know what their intentions are. And as it unfolds, what the probabilities might kind of keep resisting to the way they want it in their control to be. And so, not everything is bad. Everything, if we change our perspective and we look at it from a different way. I was given some information today about Australia. And Australia, to me, was, what was it? What did they call it? They called it the Gold Star Leah. Gold Star Leah. That's what the meaning of Australia is. And it's called gold as in gold, and then the star, and then Leah as in from the heart, I guess, Leo, but Leah. So it's an island that is a nation unto its own. And now they're going to everything, the agenda that's coming out, and whether it might be in the way they thought it might be, or I'm starting to see, so many steps ahead of how this is going to turn out within the next 5 years. And I'm thinking, well, okay, I can't see, this is the best thing here is to be the observer. And you're either getting this or not, and we'll see how things go. But eventually, this was just something that not everybody needs to know or wants to know the future, but this was like some kind of insight on what Australia really... I'm not going to give any more information away, so let's continue on. This was one thing that is going to depopulate. The majority of the population over there will empty out so that it can actually have another population go there. So it's going to be already nice and ready and set for whoever's remaining to make a go of it if they'd like, eventually, later down the road, when less of a population. And you gotta understand here, it's like, as long as people keep breeding, 10% of the global population isn't really much in comparison to how many people are being born. So it's something to consider, that within everything that might be seen as, really bad, also the other side of it too is really good, really good. So we can we're all here on a mission, and we can be missionaries, or we can, or we can be hired, enslaved ones, or whatever the value might be. But we're here for a purpose, and we're here to get things done. And if one of them happens to be getting the vaccines and being part of the experimental process, then that's also respected. And I also respect all of you who's doing this. And so let's continue on. From the experience that the self has learned, it serves no purpose. Why would it place in the hands of something else its power? And so we will see. We have yet to see what, okay, so you place your power in someone else's hands, and so you're no longer the creator, and you could be seen as a victim or as a perpetrator, but you're no longer the creator. Someone else will be the creator of you, the owner of you. But then again, that's okay too. And so it's like going to anywhere, like like I was saying, Australia, okay, or any tropical rainforest, anywhere we go, and you see the wilderness, and you see all these wild animals set free and so beautiful, and they do their own thing, and how healthy it is to go hunting and all these things. And then you see people farming animals, and then you see them all like limited and fed and kept real nice and everything. But at the end of the day, some of them might be used for breeding, others might be used for slaughter, for eating and consuming, and also others will be as your pets. So who are we to be their creators or their captors? But we do these things. So this is the way of the world, and we all are important to this. Every one of us is important and to be respected for the roles that we've assigned ourselves to experience. And not one is better than the other, and just completely trust in this. And so the peace does not come from denying the attraction. Rather, it has learned to take responsibility over its own timing mechanism by facing, feeling, and freeing all that which has caused it pain and fear from separation. Today, find what the power means to the self and make some time to feel it. Really, truly feel and take possession of its body. And then again, you don't have to. You might be, into having somebody else take over your body and feel better, and, you don't have to. And you don't have to take any responsibility at all of your own sovereign governing. And so this is all a choice that we make. Own the self and take full responsibility over it as a sovereign entity, and that of the body of earth it by choice stands on. Like we have already grounded, so any external noise or vibrations or lights or anything to distract us from our senses, that was a test. And did it? Did it take you away from the interest that we are here and now, present? Did it disturb you? Does it disturb you that all these choices you have made and the decisions that unfold your reality. And for a moment, stand up straight and tall with eyes closed, which you have already done so. We have in the beginning of this segment. And if you don't have your eyes closed, go ahead, close them. And go within. Feel that place of center. And like we have done before many, many times, you center through your feet, your tailbone, your pelvic region. Feel those connections now to each other. And from the spine and belly button, feel the connection. And all the way up again to the heart, and in between the solar plexus and the heart, and then go deeper to the spine. And through the lungs, breathing in and out, all the way to the back of your skull, your occipital. Then feel your thalamus. Feel that serotonin. Feel that melatonin. And let it balance out into both worlds as they become one. And all the way up to the crown of your head. And let the external tests come in to where exactly you might be in this trust of surrendering and centering. Where exactly are you? Is it taking you out? Or are you still in there? Okay, so from that darkest void, do see it and breathe it forward from the heart. And now, this harmony, this balance of nature and man. Do you hear the brook, the water, the birds, nature, and then the pulse of man and his machinery in and out? It's a symphony. Do not let the aggression take you out of that still point, the eye of the storm. You could be right in the middle of a battlefield and own your ground this way. No one can pull you or push you out of your center. The purpose is to find and unify with the vertical tube of life from the core of the self and extend it outward as a light body being to experience from this ground, and that it stands firmly on. Breathe out. This beam of Christed light. Raise arms up and feet shoulder width apart. With every breath in and out, become that northern light. The authentic you that guides the way. See that light of sovereignty and claim it on this platform with seniority. I surrender in perfect trust with energy alignment and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. I surrender in perfect trust with energy, alignment, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. I surrender in perfect trust with energy, alignment, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. I surrender in perfect trust with energy, alignment, and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. And slowly start to blink your eyes open. And as you can be standing with feet shoulder width apart or sitting, as long as you have your back straight. And if you're sitting, that coil that's all the way down from your tailbone, see it slowly coming back up from the earth. If you're standing and the roots, start feeling them recede again back in from the soles of your feet, up again, and feel they're opening to close again from the bottom of your feet. And slowly open your eyes to your surroundings and become aware and the goings on of your day and your engagements and everything else that your intentions of fulfillment to accomplish, to go about your day. And just remember to take these words of wisdom to support the confidence that will provide, as any other external source or reference that you might have had otherwise previously, to help in the approval and consent that you may accept, to give yourself permission to surrender in perfect trust with energy alignment and in harmony of all that is within every unfolding moment. And remember that stream that rushes from that rejuvenation of the ions that we breathe in and out, that create our world, and that we connect with nature and the earth as one. And as we have done so, from the soles of our feet and tailbone, all the way from the spine and back again around to the heart, belly button, and again, this stream like we hear when all is quiet and still and grounded, that stream that we hear from this brook in the background next to me, when there's not all that vibrating sound from all the stress that actually charges up the ions and activates them and stresses everything out to the point where the release must happen that we know as rain. And so I really enjoyed this segment, and there's more to come. Stay tuned. Bye-bye now.